Spring 1992 was unusually bright across the Midwest. Towns like Indianapolis, Terre Haute, Wichita, and St. Charles were waking up from winter, and stores along the busy stretch of Interstate 70 bustled with everyday life. Gas stations, boutiques, and strip mall stores sat just off exits, separated by long stretches of empty highway. But in April, something began to stir along the concrete veins of America, something cold, silent, and calculated. The first murder occurred on April 8, 1992, in Indianapolis, Indiana. A young store clerk named Robin Fuldauer, 26 years old, was found dead behind the counter of a Payless shoe store. She had been shot execution style with a .22 caliber pistol. No money was taken. No sign of a struggle. No surveillance footage. Just a single bullet to the back of the head. 10 days later, Nancy Kitzmiller, a 24-year-old working at a boot store in St. Charles, Missouri, was killed in the exact same way. She was shot twice. The killer had hesitated. 3 days after that, in Raytown, Missouri, Sarah Blessing, 37, was found dead in her small health store. Same weapon. Same method. The timeline was tightening. The killer was moving. All the victims were young store clerks working alone. All were along I-70, a major corridor through the heartland. All were shot with a small caliber handgun, likely a .22. No sexual assault. No robbery. Just cold, direct execution. It was as if someone was cleaning up, erasing lives for reasons no one could understand. Witnesses, for the few who caught a glimpse, described the man as a quiet white male, mid-20s to early 30s, with sandy or reddish-blonde hair, a slim build, and calm demeanor. He didn't seem angry or rushed. Just businesslike. He was soon dubbed the I-70 Killer. By May 1992, 6 victims were dead across 3 states. In addition to Fuldauer, Kitzmiller, and Blessing, 3 others, Patricia Majors and Patricia Smith in Wichita, and Michael McCown, a 40-year-old man in Terre Haute, Indiana, who may have been mistaken for a woman due to his ponytail and the fact he worked in a ceramic store, were all killed in eerily similar fashion. And then, the killer disappeared. Just like that. No final message. No body left on display. No farewell. For nearly a decade, investigators scrambled. Over 3,000 leads were followed. Countless interviews conducted. Several men were questioned, even arrested. But all were ruled out. The FBI considered him a spree killer, someone whose motivations weren't financial, sexual, or personal, just compulsive. But then in 2001, in Texas, new murders began. Small, obscure businesses. Female clerks. Same MO, same weapon type. One woman survived, just barely. She described a man with straw blonde hair, calm, and strangely soft-spoken. He didn't seem frantic or rushed. He seemed organized. Practiced. Some believed the I-70 killer had returned. Over time, I-70 became more than just a road. It became a timeline of fear. A corridor where small towns whispered about the man who vanished. Truckers passed stories at rest stops. Clerks started working in pairs. Security cameras were upgraded. But still, the sense remained, he had never been caught. He was no ordinary drifter. His killings were too clean. His movements, too precise. Investigators began to speculate that he might have been military, or even law enforcement. Someone trained. Someone who knew how to move without leaving a trace. But there were anomalies. He killed one male victim. He skipped long stretches of road. He crossed state lines but stayed on a specific route. Theories sprang up, that he was testing something. That the clerks were symbolic. That it wasn't about who they were, but what they represented. A profiler once suggested the killer may have seen himself as a purifier, removing people he saw as part of some moral rot. But no manifesto was ever found. No messages. No taunting calls. Just silence. And every few years, when an unsolved shooting in a small-town shop hits the news, people wonder, is it him again? As of today, the I-70 killer has never been caught. Despite new DNA technology, facial reconstructions, and digital tracking, no confirmed evidence has ever linked a living person to the murders. The FBI released an updated composite sketch in 2021, aging the original suspect by nearly 30 years. It showed a hardened face. Thinner hair. Sharper eyes. But still the same calm presence. They believe he's now in his 60s. Some say he died years ago. Others think he changed identities, perhaps moved to another region, another country, or started again under a different method. And then there are the believers, the people who think he was never human to begin with. Local legends in some towns now call him the highway haunter, a spirit that preys on the lonely, those working alone in forgotten places, where the hum of fluorescent lights is the only company. Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain. The IE-70 killer didn't just vanish. He disappeared with a purpose. And maybe, somewhere out there, he's still watching the road, ***.